Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I bring you greetings from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Although I tell people all the time, what you see on the outside is urban. It's part of my marketing tool. You'll say, like, this girl's in gardening and agriculture, Gucci and cleaning and hair and lashes and all that good stuff. Again, that's part of my marketing strategy and really who I am. I am urban somewhat, but originally I come from the original 40 acres and a mule. From Emancipation Proclamation, we still operate the 40 acres in the rural part of Oklahoma. My mother brothers, they run beef cattle and sell it, at those auctions and all that. So I always like to say, when people say I'm this old country girl with makeup and hair and lashes and all that good stuff. I do that purposely because I like to attract to the next generation. That's who I'm trying to appeal to them, to make sure they understand you can make that bag and that. So that's right. I do it, like I said, purposely because that is sustainability to me, the next generation. I want to make sure that they get it. I want to make sure that they understand that's what you are put here to do, is to take care of the earth and take care of other people. How you do that is being consistent. And that's what I have learned in my 14 and a half years of founding the organization in 2008. I came out actually from supporting National Black Farmers Association, which was ran by Dr. John Boyd. I was basically their event coordinator, if you will. I would help with the paperwork, get people signed in and all that good stuff. But I noticed that there were women at these conferences and they weren't saying anything. They were just sitting there. The men are saying all this and talking to the government, the women are still sitting there. And so at the time, my background is legal. If you want to know my bio, I'm not going to go into that, but I do come from a legal background, from my legal degree from NWIAA law. And then I went back to Oklahoma when I met my wonderful husband in the back that's recording me. And you see I'm making one of the t-shirts. It's on the back. It says in pink, we proudly support National NWIAA in pink. And I'll talk to you about the pink. But I wanted to make sure that my legal background actually was an assistant to what the missing link was, especially with underserved farmers in an underserved community. Paperwork. 90% of the issue in underserved communities is because the people don't know how to do the paperwork when working with the government. There are disabilities as far as educational, socioeconomic issues. That's what people like the fancy. Basically, they just don't understand all that paperwork. And they get kind of, shocked because it is a lot of paperwork. And what I work with and partner highly with the USDA, our organization was the organization that assisted them to recognize minority women as far as being producers. It was as if we didn't even exist on Earth. They weren't counting us. We were just there. And when I say minority, that also includes veterans, women, Caucasian women. I always tell people, because they try to push back on them, because there's always some stuff when you work with the government, right? It's just some stuff that don't even make sense to me. But, they're like, Caucasian women are not really minorities. And I was like, I don't know what book you're in. They're still women, and I see some of the same issues that they have, I have. So we are very diverse. If you go to our website, click into our website, we have chapters, 63 chapters, working on the 64th, 65th, and 66th from Tammy.
All right.
Yes, I in your ears with all of them. And I have to back up because I have to really tell how I got to Tammy. In the back, there, our chapter leader, the infamous Miss Amanda Edwards. Amanda, raise your hand. None of you know what he'd be standing here if it wasn't for this young lady who, just stepped out on faith 3 years ago. It's like, I want to get involved. She flew to Oklahoma. She saw headquarters where we sat on the corner of 16th and Martin Luther King in the middle of the hood. I didn't go up there. I didn't go to school there. My husband actually was raised somewhat in the area. But my point being, I wanted to be intentional and place back to my education, and I was serving the community, and especially the children that need the help at these Title I schools in these communities. Then I met when I came to Tampa, I don't know when, but it was this year or last year?
Last year.
Last year, okay. I'm like, so much going on. But I met Salt and Peppers, what I call them. Miss Lena and Miss Kitty. They are what you call the truth. When I say the truth, when I look at them, I pull strength, as well as the young lady in the back. She was with us as well. When I say they actually showed me that you keep going no matter what. Against all obstacles, and you have to know, being a dual minority, I call myself. I'm a black woman, and I'm looked at it like, are you crazy that you really have 63 chapters and actually 11 overseas now, and opening up one in Thailand and opening one in Greece? When I say I did not envision this, when I opened the Action Chapter again, it went back to wanting to give women a voice in agriculture. And looking at my own family, because my mother, her sisters, they all still have properties that, they really don't operate like they should. Again, with paperwork, but they're getting better now that, I'm here and whatever, they're going to help me at it. I do whatever I'm told, I tell people, if it's legal. So, moving forward, where we are right now, we were just recently named the largest nonprofit minority organization in the world. Oh, wow. And when I say up against so many obstacles and unnecessary, they've been investigating me like she was handling money, she put somebody's name on a grant and they wasn't there. Well, first of all, I had to go back and educate them. Their name was on a grant to give them an opportunity to make money. They chose not to come and make the money, but we kept going. But I just said, I'm going to back up, you could still make the money. When I say they did not come, COVID happened. COVID happened, they could not get, one actually had a death. They lost their husband. Another one had COVID. Long story short, when they finally caught up with, we had a grant that was in their area, which was a little bit of money. And my point is that how important it is that we teach people and children numbers is what counts. Math and science. Yeah. And I always tell people, those are the two most important education elements that is important in agriculture. When I say math, and I had to really tell these women, do you really think that that have over 63 chapters, right, actually have 15 years, February 21st, 2024, because we started 2008. But those numbers, you really think I'm going to jeopardize $3,000 for all of that? It doesn't make sense. It's not practical. But what the government, that the ones who want to stop the progress for women and for underserved people, they wanted to drill down and investigate. They contacted the chapter leaders, but the one thing they didn't realize, I'm still smart. It was a Zoom, so it was recorded. Exactly the training that I did before we started, to tell them you have the opportunity to make $1,000 a month. If you get 10 people, because we're in COVID, we're doing everything virtual. So I wanted to make it easier for everyone, because no one was coming and setting up events like this. We had the grants, and I said, you bring 10 people from your area once a month to get on the phone on this call, and we'll send you $1,000 for your area, for your channel. I don't think you get it any easier than that. Now, mind you, I'm at corporate every day, Monday through Friday. And again, I don't try to work Saturdays. This is a great exception. But Monday through Friday, my staff and my assistant primarily, but now we're getting law school students, I actually come in and intern. And I pay them $15 an hour to make sure that I do have, again, that education piece that's reading, that's checking the numbers, that we're dividing the country up in regional areas. However, with that, we had the screenshot technology. Screenshots showing the ones who were complaining, a couple that were complaining that, she's trying to use us, mishandling the funds. And I said, let me tell you about mishandling the funds. I'm mishandling so much that we get $50,000 to $200,000 if we get a grant. However, there are groups that's been receiving money since 1914. that's doing the exact same thing that I'm working with the government, and I'm going to go into the big unveil here in a minute, that have been receiving over $300 million every year to make sure children have opportunities that don't look like me. And you're going to pick with them, you think that I'm going to waste my time. But see, I've set a platform, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. The platform is set for our chapters to make money. If they're there or not, they can always say, I'm a part of the National Women in Agriculture. They've been around for almost 15 years. We have X amount of chapters. We have a community garden that's on 10 acres on Martin Luther King Avenue. We have this in Florida. We have that in Georgia. They can use that capacity to make money. But even while they were sick during COVID, they could have still used that to go for money. And that if they were smart, but they were too busy trying to come after all this makeup and hair, and that's what they were coming for. They weren't coming for it. They weren't coming for the overall vision, but they were coming for that because they just don't like it. And that's okay, because you have to have it. Because that's what brings strength and helps you to tighten up a little tighter too. By the time they got through with all that, their investigation per se, put it like this. Bill Sapp, you know, is the USDA secretary that Biden selected, right? The second person is the deputy secretary up under Bill Sapp. I got a call recently where their findings were, we got to make sure you're good before this administration goes out. And when I say that, for 10 years I have been working on becoming a pilot program. When I say my allergies are horrible. I've been working for 10 years to become the first Black congressionally chartered organization ever in America. There's never been one, ever. When you say not even the NWIAA 10, no, never. What happens when you're congressionally chartered? That's United Way, that's 4-H, that's FFA, that's Boys and Girl Scouts. All of those are congressionally chartered. Thank you so much. Those are congressionally chartered organizations. That means that every year they have money rolling from Congress, no matter if the sun shines or not. But I serve a God and I know it's going to shine, whatever you know. So, I have been after going back and forth to DC, talking to Congress members, just constantly like, hear us, talk to us, taking different chapel leaders, we'll bring like busloads up there to show that we had children that could be saved and given opportunities that could just hear us. Again, I serve a big God, and I have to give all credit to him, and I always tell people, now I'm going to say bad words sometimes, so I just want y'all to know. So don't be thinking, oh shit, I'm a believer, okay? I'm a believer. So when we met and how we got to the congressional table, a Republican, and I say that with great pride, because I'm neither one. I'm not Republican or Democrat. Talk to my husband, he made us independent. A Republican from Texas. He's a conservative Republican, but he was the chairman of the Ag Committee at the time, my time. He was the chairman of the Ag Committee that flew to our conference. When I was talking to you guys about doing the national conference here, we had a national conference in Michigan. And when we sent our blasts, and you guys get some of our constant content, we sent out like a global mass to everyone, and we do the same with Congress. He flew to Michigan, and he was our keynote speaker, but he brought us back. When I say back, invited us back to DC, said, look, Congress, Black Caucus, look, you guys, look what you have. You have minority women leading with children with them. Women and children go together. By the way, we have them, and I tell men that all the time. We have farms. So I wanted to make sure that my Conway, chair, and I still call him chairman, he brought us there for 10 years, really nothing. We'll have listening sessions, all this stuff, just wasting a lot of money, because it wasn't that hard. When you have one group of children that get sustainable opportunities in agriculture, and another group that's never even heard of agriculture, right. Literally. Right. When I say agriculture, when I go speak at schools, they're like, what? And then like farming, they're like, what? Because that sounds horrible. It sounds hard. It sounds not like them, someone with overalls out on a tractor. And we want that too in a peak tractor though. So, we were able to, here recently, when I say recently, literally before I came down here this past week, well, I mean back, Congressman Michael Conway, former, he retired last year. Now there's a new ranking member that's on the Republican side. name, and I can say his name because if you go out on the website, you're going to see the town hall meeting we did in Atlanta, and it's on our website with them as well as with Joe Levert. I hope I'm saying the right person, but it's the Levert singer. He was also at the round table with us. His name is Glenn Thompson from Pennsylvania. He's a ranking member on the Ag Committee. Now, if you know this politics stuff, the Republicans don't have the actual control. They're not controlling the House or the Senate. You would think that would be easy for us, right? Because that's the black caucus. Those are black people that look like me. You would think they would be helping and jumping up and down for this. Nothing. So, Chairman Mike Conway, he said, you know what? Let me reach over here and talk to GT. That's how they talk. And he said, he's going to support you. He'll be with you. Still, we're like, okay, GT's going to support us. We're good. We got this. However, GT couldn't sponsor us because it wouldn't make political sense for him to sponsor us being a minority group and me being the color that I am. We go forward. The largest agriculture group that lobby at the White House. I'm lucky enough to say, or blessed enough, my uncle sits on that board for Oklahoma, which is huge. When I say it's the largest in America, and they go lobby, and I could say it's the Farmers and Ranchers Union. They lobby at the White House and they make the laws for all of us, or make sure things happen for the agriculture community. They were able to tell me, and follow my research from a PR firm from Washington, D.C., fact-checking, because I don't supposed to have that brain to know all this stuff and stay this consistent, especially being who I am. They fact-checked me. They ran the list. They ran the numbers. Back to that math. I'm going to get to the science part in a minute. But the math, they ran the numbers. They said, Tammy, you're right. There has never been a black congressional charter organization. Ever. So it would never be equal. And right now it's the equity and inclusion big movement. Right. But guess what the name of our bill has been for 10 years ago? Let me tell you how divine intervention works. It was called Minority Women and Children Equity and Inclusion Act. I named that years ago while we were running back and forth. Here's this administration, that's all they're about. They said it's not fair. They sent the actual, all the nonprofits and congressional charter organizations. So the largest lobbying firm that lobbies there, he said, we went in, we spoke to the White House. The money's there with what you want to do. And what I want to do is to become a pilot program for 4-H for at-risk youth. So what does that mean? We'll just like this. I think 4-H and FFA are the best groups ever for children. However, we have to have them in our communities too. Right. Because you have to teach these children, that's the basic in agriculture. Yes. Learning the science. I told you I was going to come back to the science. Learning the science about the earth. You have to understand that air out there we have to take care of because that's what keeps us breathing. Yeah. We have to know that the food that we eat, you have to grow it yourself or grow it to make money in order to survive. And you will always have a job doing this. Yeah. Or the water. Understanding you have to take care of the water. A young lady that spoke before clothing. Unfortunately, we don't get to walk around naked all the time. I'm glad I don't, because all this weight I gained in the last year, I'm like, thank you, Lord, for big clothes and girdles and all that good stuff. So, those are things as far as the science where we're missing. Yeah. Because we're not able to deliver it to our children in an innovative way. When I say innovative, what you look at me, I guarantee you if I go into a college, I'm always told by young people, I want to be like you, Miss Tammy. If they come to my office, they see I was able to bling it out and got a great insurance policy when an ice storm came. Paid one payment. Again, back to that math. My husband's like, you're paying $500 a month for that? I'm like, I have to have commercial insurance. An ice storm comes, I paid one payment because I just switched over. They paid for a whole remodel. Wow. I'm kind of getting off track here, but that's how God does it. So, but when you walk in, you'll be like, wow. Literally, when children walk in from the community, they say, this looks like a white person's place. Literally, they say that. Because they don't seem nice all the time. Back to what I was talking about with the White House. Is it, Tammy, the reason we can't sponsor because we got to have bipartisan from people that look like you. You have to have black people so supporting what you're doing. Well, you all know me. I don't, all this they're saying to me. I'm like, I said, I know, it's sad, isn't it? I said, well, I promise promise you, when we go on TV, I promise you, Mr. Conway, I promise you, GT, you guys go on me as with Republicans, I'm in the middle of y'all two white guys, I promise you my people are coming. And I tell them just like that. I said, that's just something. I don't know what it is, but I say other words on the side. I can't, to be right and proper, I want to be nice. But I told them, I said, you know what, I promise you, we didn't have to even do that. We said, okay, I said, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of getting picked on for almost 15 years. I have literally, when I say picked on by the government, we filed a grant, we nailed it. They said it's a national grant, and we wanted to have national appearance, so we're the largest in the United States. This is like a couple years back. We got cut from $900,000 down to $200,000. You know what they told me? You better take it or leave it. This is what they, and somebody that looked like me, mind you, this is at the government. This is how much control they have. Then, you know, if they like you, they don't like you, and if you get, like I tell them, I get a sister on the other side, she don't like you, I love her, whatever. And I get a brother that got a little power, he want to be crazy too, because I'm not submissive enough. I get a white woman on the other side, you know, she's a black woman, she shouldn't have to do all this, you know, it's always something. You know who support me the most, and I'm able to say it, are white men. Unfortunately, and I'm telling you this because I'm being real with you. White men, because you're businessmen. You know business, you know how to make things move. So what they do is they take me and say, well, we want to be next to you because you know what, we want to go to the top, we want to do all this stuff what you're talking about. So that's just business, and I don't have a problem even. My #1 chapter lead, not #1 chapter lead, I take out that. My #1 business partner that does our report, she's Caucasian. She's Caucasian, she has a twang from Nashville, Tennessee. And when I say train, I tell Darlene, okay, this one's yours. Kind of like what you guys call me. Well, you guys remember you mentored me in the garden? I said, okay, Darlene, this is yours. I said, we got to switch up. You got to be the leader because they're not going to hear it from me. When I say that, I said, my people like you. I said, you got to have to speak to me. I promise you it works every time. We had our briefing with Deputy Jewel. I'm getting ready to tell you the story. 2 weeks ago, we had, wasn't it, Amanda, you were on the call, when we did the big meeting, we finally got a meeting with the deputy. She spoke at one of our conferences a long time ago and down at Tuskegee, and she remembered me, but it was hard to get the meeting. It was a hard thing to get a meeting. So we had a big Zoom meeting, and again, I'm a strategist, that's my background, legal. I said, okay. They don't really care for Tammy because Tammy did all this big stuff on a little bit of money and they still don't appreciate it, which I don't care. So I said, Darlene, you're going to lead it. You're going to speak. I'm just going to like kind of be the facilitator, you know, who's next. I said, you're going to speak to my sister, if you will. You're going to speak and actually tell the story where we've been, all the stats, all the findings. You do it. She did it. She nailed it. When I say she did it, she stood up, she was very professional, pink women in that t-shirt. By the time we finished, Mike Conway was on the call. They really perked up, didn't they? When the former chairman started talking to the big leadership at the USDA, the ears were perked. Chairman Conway, yes, we hear you. He said, you need to tell Bill Sack he didn't get this thing done. He needed to go to the White House and make sure this. Because our thing was, we couldn't go back to Congress because under the Trump administration, the Judiciary Committee told us, hey, listen, we no longer target nonprofits. Of course things change when we come to the table. I'm okay with that. I have to take that. That's the rules. They said, this administration, and you're going to see how this went. I said, okay. I said, that's fine, whatever. We're talking at our big virtual Zoom. So by the end of the Zoom, you know, I'd always end it with, when can we get back in contact with you to see how we're going to get help to meet with President Biden? Because that was our goal, to go through the proper channels, go through the agricultural doors, because if we were defense, we'd go through the defense doors. Decent and in order. I'm always like humble and submissive as possible, as you just know. But I don't even get no, even when I get pissed off, he hears all my woes, and it's unfortunate because sometimes he can't sleep when something's on me, so I know that we're in tune. I sleep like a bear. I just take me some Benadryl. So, because I know I'm doing nothing wrong, you know what I'm saying? If I am doing something, not that I'm perfect, it's not intentional. Like I tell them, it's not intentional. So by the end of the call, she said, well, I can't commit to win. I said, okay, but this is what I had that I submitted literally in the call. I had my assistant. I said, upload in March. I said, we're getting ready to have a march. We're getting ready to march in D.C. on this issue. I wasn't playing anymore because if we were tired, I'm tired. I'm trying to retire and step down and give the baton over, but I got to get this thing finished. I said, well, I want, Madam Deputy, I want to tell you all, because I want to make sure that nothing's a shock and I'm being transparent. We plan to march in Washington, D.C. on September 28th of this year, the day of the Black Caucus Conference when it starts. And I did that intentionally. All the things started getting in place, literally to the point where you have to get permits to do all this stuff. We contacted the Capitol. We said we're going to march from the Capitol to USDA and over to the White House. President Biden will see this because he has to hear this. And I don't want to go. I'm going to President Biden to get an executive order because Congress said they can't do it. They said, okay. So before I came down here, I get a call, because literally, and then we also have to speak to the Washington, D.C. police, the USDA police, all of us, and we have to do what they call a logistics meeting over the phone of all the specifics. I mean, like if I get a podium like this, I have to send them a copy of the type of podium that has to be checked out and scanned for security reasons. I always went through a holiday. I get a call literally like Wednesday or Thursday. They said, Dr. Steele, no need to march.
What?
This is what we're going to do. We got a fierce new freshman congresswoman that came in. She on the Black Caucus, imagine that. Little female. Everything that I'm like, oh, I got all these problems. They said, what we're going to do, she's going to actually sponsor your bill.
Oh, wow.
Special about Florida, though, because Congressman Hastings, was it?
Yeah.
He's deceased.
Yes.
He was going to sponsor, but he passed away.
Yeah, he passed away, right.
But I didn't have Black congressional support. Literally, when I say they know me very well, come to find out, even from the USDA leadership, when Marcia Fudge left, when things changed, the administration, she went over to HUD. So her assistant, chief of staff, remembered me. But that wasn't even the kicker, because I'm still saying, like, well, why didn't you just do something then? I had to do all this stuff.
Right.
It was at the time. Divine intervention wasn't lining up, because this administration says diverse, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah.
That's all our president is about.
That's right.
Because I was going to ask him, like you said, President, I have a clip, because I had our staff. I said, pull that clip where he said Black women helped him become president.
Yeah, right.
So we love exchanging favors, because that's what we do in America, right? So we're going to go to the White House and we're going to tell him, here we go, Mr. President. Here's all the stuff we've done. Here are our babies. Here's all the stats. Here's everything you need us to do to commence history. So when I got the call, no need to march. We're going to make sure this thing works. And we want to do it in this Congress. Let me tell you.
Oh my gosh.
Again, yes, that's a crowning moment. That means before November.
Yes.
Because the new Congress comes in November.
Right, they do.
That's how fast they can move it. Things change for everyone.
Yes.
I even had people that look like me and said, you cut the hand that feeds you, or some saying.
Right.
I said, well, let me tell you this. I want to make sure my hand feed a lot of people. I don't want to stand between you guys and lunch. I saw my husband get up, because those are kind of my cues. He's like, I'm a talker, but I wanted to show you, can you get the video up? Because the one from Africa, I wanted to show you our Africa chapter.
So which one do you want?
It's the one with the kids in the purple.
It says my movie. Look at up there. Those are the three choices.
No, it's just a, is it the YouTube?
It's a YouTube. It's on YouTube. But also, while they're doing that, I know y'all see my airdrops. I'm back there airdropping stuff, and I'm airdropping it so you can have access to everything that we're doing. Some of you have iPhones, but Amanda, can you start trying to drop down? If you could turn on your airdrop or receive the airdrop, we have a petition also. Again, petition with over 3,000 signatures. Our goal is to have 5,000 signatures that we also can drop in the lap. When I tell them, I said, don't you want to not be afraid of crime? Someone, is that it?
Oh, we haven't been connected to the internet now.
Oh, okay.
Find the thing, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Just hang on.
I have no problem. How about you all, if you don't have it, you can go to Miss Amanda right there. She's still the chapter leader in Tammy, one of the chapter leaders. Again, to become a chapter leader is simple, simple, simple. We send our electronic chapter establishment documents. You sign it electronically. We get your headshot, your bio, and your chapter. We are at the end of our fiscal year. Our fiscal year ends September 30th. We start a whole new year, October 1. We just follow whatever the government does because it makes life easier for reporting. The reason I say that becoming a chapter, this is a good time to become a chapter because we could all get the training that we provide literally every year. We go through a whole virtual training and drill down. And the way we're structuring now, all of our chapters in-house in Oklahoma, I'm getting like 6 assistants to work with me. I promise you I'll keep 10 busy. But 6 I compromise. 6 where we're going to actually divide the country up into regions.
You never truly realize it.
Okay, here we go. Let me start.
Some life-changing experiences.
I was over
Maybe
in
one,
March.
an event that causes inconvenience and disruption, with death, illness, famine, or 2, when you witness the conditions of others who are experiencing a totally different 24 hours than you are. Here in America, attending a school that has ample amount of desks, textbooks, and notes to accommodate their student body is the expectation. National Women in Agriculture is taking a step out of our backyard to bring agricultural and educational opportunities to brown children located in the heart of Africa. NWIAA Africa is calling on you. That's right, you watching this video to help make a difference. In March 2022, representatives traveled to 3 secondary schools located in Port Harcourt, River State, Nigeria, where they were afforded the opportunity to speak with student leaders and see firsthand what's going on at these schools. The students expressed daily challenges that hinder their learning times and the resources needed to make their educational path smooth. As a nonprofit organization, this is a call much greater than we've ever become, and we want to give 110% towards these efforts to give these children equal opportunities that our children have here in the U.S. Whether you're able to give a like, share, and/or donation, it's all appreciated. So thank you for watching. With much love, NWIAA.
Awesome.
That's my baby doing the narrating right now.
Oh, wow.
She's 26. When I say I'm very, very confident, that's not part of mine. That's my contact information. Like I said, if you go to Amanda in the back can actually assist. She actually has that. She's airdropping, but you can also go out of for technology. She can go and you can scan the QR code and also the pop-up, all that good stuff with our phones. I don't carry the business cards anymore because these young people, you guys, you gotta get them on your team. They are phenomenal, yes. When I say, and I tell them, they look at me and they go, well, Tammy, why, what are you doing so different? I have one of my own, and I call my own because, that's what we do. I don't even know how to say it. I just go with whatever they say. He said, well, you're comparing yourself to 4-H. And I said, listen to me, how can I compare myself to 4-H? I want to be like 4-H. Right, in our communities, I think all children deserve an opportunity. I said, that's the whole point of us doing this. This is your leader. This is a leader that's very high, that works with the president and this is the top of the top that's talking to me. Like you're comparing yourself with 4-H. And I said, I could never be 4-H. This has been going on since 1914. Are you crazy? I mean, I didn't say that to him, that's what I wanted to say. You dummy, who have you in that position? But anyway, these are the common sense and the little crazy things that I go through. Like I said, all it is sharing. This is the moral of my story, of my story. We literally have a professor, Dr. Andrew Young, from San Jose College in California, that is writing a book and has been tracking me for the last couple of years. And now also Princeton University has stepped in.
Awesome.
I know. There's so much going on. Like I said, tell people, you think I don't remember half the stuff that they tell them? Like, I don't know. So Princeton University has also stepped in also to assist with the bill and the charter. So, that name alone brings power. They're like, oh. So they're writing and doing all the stuff with Congress and different ones. They're really helping me. Also, literally while I was here, and I was talking to someone, the WNBA has endorsed this.
Yeah, I saw
Yes.
that.
And literally last night while I was standing right here, yes, the infamous Miss Ruthie Bolton, she called me, literally. You were right there when I got the call. But what that looks like is she brings on more WNBA players. She brings on WNBA players, NBA players. The reason why is because everyone knows, mostly in minority communities, especially in the Afro-American community, our children love basketball. Well, our thing is, how are you going to play basketball when you don't eat right, you don't go to school, you gain violence, whatever they do? I just still don't get it. Even with drugs and things like, you want this pie in the sky, and literally that's not real. Only a few make it to the pros, if you will. Only a few become a famous rapper. Although we're trying to get Waka Flocka, literally while we speak right now. I don't even know who the guy is when my assistant texts me like, Waka Flocka in town. I said, go get it. So we want to make sure, Waka Flocka, the reason he's important is because he's into agriculture. And we know that young people like it. So whatever young people like, we want to sustain to them, we're going to try to go get it. Because when I say get it, they're like, what are you talking about? So, but I understand making sure they understand, again, and I'm going to close. You can make that bag and add. And that's what it's all about. Every Wednesday, if you guys want to see me, I'll do the... every Wednesday I have started the first Women in Ag talk show. It's called Women in Ag Wednesday. If any of you would like to be on my show, it's a podcast. Literally we talk to farmers all over, male, female, black, blue, green, whatever. We try to make sure everyone in agriculture has a platform and a voice to connect you to USDA programs. I say that because that's where we get our money from. I get grant funding, and every chapter is able to go for their own grant funding. The exact same grant I go for, our chapters can. Because we do all the incorporation papers, we make sure you have the platform, we have the connects with the USDA, like literally, Amanda, you can actually vouch, even with your USDA agency here in Florida, I have a great connection with them. I'm able to say, go ahead, give her a little money anyway to help her out, or like help us, And what that is connecting, you get a contract or agreement, they call it cooperative agreements. You're able to get that agreement. It may go from $50,000 to $100,000. That's good money for me. But the point being is for you to connect other people to their programs and literally help yourself while you're doing it as well. The first step, you have to do the FSA, Farm Service Agency. That's the first stop. Any farmer, you have to be able to get that farm ID number. You have to be able to get that before you participate in USDA programs. The second step is our number one partner, as I was talking about, NRCS. That's where the cooperative agreements, and I tell people, and you have to understand, there are almost no individual grant fundings for individual farmers or producers, and people don't understand. Grants are for nonprofits and colleges. Why? Because of back to the numbers. They are not going to give you $100,000 or $300,000 or what have you grant to just serve yourself. It just doesn't make sense. But imagine that. They understand that, right? They understand that sense. But the individual farmer, I only know of like two in my world that will fund an individual producer is in the USDA is your Department of Agriculture. I always tell people contact them and see what type of funding they have. I think yours is in Gray-Steele, I believe. Yeah. But you need to contact them and say, hey, do you have any funding for farmers? Because most of the times they have grants for farmers that we could, like in Oklahoma, we have something called the diversification grant. The diversification grant allows, like the farmer could start from $2,500, I think, go to $15,000. But then again, those are startup fundings where you can diversify from one crop or from one animal to another, doing little innovative things with that. However, you can get written into grants by a nonprofit. That is important to know too, because I contract a lot, but I have to see the work consistently. I am now, that's when I actually need to have 6 people in-house with me, because I want to work with my people to work with the states individually, the chapter leaders, or the people, if you will, if the chapter leaders are not doing what we need them to do. Because again, that was the situation what happened with the 2 women were like, well, our name is on the grant. I'm like, do you really think 1 or 2 names make a difference when I'm writing 63 chapters? Learn math, and that's all I tell the government. When you talk to these people, you know that they're not mentally, how to say, I'm trying to do this real nice. You're talking to socially disadvantaged people that don't understand math and science, and you know that. Most of them, I should say most of them, even in the government, they don't know it. And I said, what sense would that make if you really look at me, that I need their name? I am in grants all the time. If I see we're going down that road or somebody's crazy not doing that, I'll take their name out in a minute. But what I did learn to do out of this whole lesson, if you're named in a grant, I'm going to send you a copy of it. Usually you don't do that. Most of you who do grants, if you tell me, do you usually give the person who runs the grant a copy? I usually don't, because we just don't. But this time, that was my lesson from it. So you'll see what you have to do. But although we went through the training, but we didn't remember that. So I said that with USDA programs, like I said, your Department of Agriculture, and the other, as far as SARE, have you all heard of that? SARE. If you haven't, you need to, if you're an individual producer. SARE also helps individual farmers. Now, you can do Googles, there may be other agencies or foundations, but these are the ones that I'm familiar with. I've sat on the SARE board for 8 years, I sat on there, and I sat on there, in different capacities to help make sure people are connected. But I'm kind of winding it up. Again, I'm going to say that one more time. If you all have questions, comments, concerns, talk about me, girl, shut up, just let me know.